Yo, Big Catch back up in here. We about to go over how Pharrell Williams just made Drake look more pathetic. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop. I will leave a link in the description. He about to break it down for us. I haven't seen this video. This is a blind reaction. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, and go subscribe to that channel as well. All right? Y'all know I don't like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, Drake just can't stay out of controversy recently, as day after day, it seems like between his own declining reputation and status as a rapper to him and his actions finally being addressed by a lot of big names in hip-hop culture. All in all, Drake is finally getting his full reckoning in a lot of ways for not just everything that went down between him and Kendrick Lamar, for all the antics and tricks he tried to pull to take some sort of victory in that beef alone, but also for all the other sneak dissing and instigating he has been doing to other artists for the past few years on albums like Her Laws, For All the Dogs, and throughout a ton of his features, and now most recently. Drake's been officially addressed by someone who, while not being directly engaged in conflict with him, still has been one of the most pivotal names in Drake's career in terms of determining where this spiral has been on started and where it's eventually going to end in none other than Pharrell Williams. And now, after years of not just the Kendrick beef, but years of Drake targeting Pharrell because of how bitter he was about the end result of his beef with Pusha T, Drake has finally got what he deserved from Pharrell. But before we get into this, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. It helps me out a ton. And so now with Drake, because Pharrell and Push were such close collaborators and friends, a few years ago it made him figure that he could start something back up or win some sort of ground back in this feud with Push by going after Pharrell, which of course at the core of this mission from Drake, the goal of this was really just to annoy Pharrell until he or Push broke and crashed out on him. And Drake's big attempt at making this happening was when Pharrell was auctioning up his chains for his non-profit, which is designed to give money to entrepreneurs. Which, when it comes to telling this story, this is a detail that's often lost in all of this situation but is so important. And as Pharrell put,
Drake got all that stuff for himself. Pharrell was up there raising money for entrepreneurs. Drake ain't thinking like that. He thinking about holding everything to himself.
These chains up to help put investment back into other people that would hopefully change their lives. Drake went and bought these chains and then started a 2-year campaign where he would pop out wearing them and pretty much try to show the world and prove the point that he conquered Pharrell, Push, and everything they ever stood for. And with this, we really saw this reach its climax during Drake's Jumbotron Poppin' video from the Her Loss era, where he was repping these chains in so many different shots and made distinct points in the video to flash them directly to the camera so everyone knew that these are indeed the real and official pieces of jewelry Pharrell used to rock back in the 2000s. And ultimately, following these subliminals that were pushed through visuals, Drake made the
He did the same thing when he had Cameron coat. Y'all remember Cameron gave him that pink coat? It's like, oh man, I just feel like I feel like I'm with Dipset. I just feel like, man, get your corny, get your corny ass out of here, man.
Situation even messier when he sent Travis Scott a last-minute verse for Utopia for the song Meltdown and straight up dissed Pharrell and Push on this album as he rapped about buying Pharrell's chains, and then he made a claim that after showing them off, he didn't just do anything with them, but he melted them down. And as Pharrell was literally a featured producer on Travis's Utopia album, this definitely made things complicated. But now fast forward to this year, and all of this came full circle as when Kendrick Lamar released his first full-on Drake diss track, Euphoria. He called out Drake for the strange way he has been taunting Pharrell over and over again after his beef with Pusha T, and then pretty much told Drake that he shouldn't come at Pharrell anymore because he is inheriting the beef for him. And now even with this warning, Drake did not stop taunting Pharrell, as on his supposed-to-be career-ending diss for Kendrick Family Matters, which of course flopped. Drake mentioned him here again and sent out a jab that the entire world was watching to see, which was when Drake told Kendrick that if he wanted to take over the beef for Pharrell, Kendrick would have to go himself and get Pharrell's legacy out of Drake's house. And now while these bars were responding directly to what Kendrick said, in the Family Matters video, we see one of Drake's OVO members rocking the same chains from Pharrell that Drake rocked back in the Jumbotron Poppin' video, and then also with even more chains that belonged to Pharrell on him this time. And this was seemingly another visual jab that was thrown at Pharrell to try and insult him, his legacy, and Pusha T, while also of course insulting Kendrick at the same time. And now after Pharrell quietly responded to Drake this summer with a song from the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack where he silently just reminded Drake of the fact that despite all of his efforts to try and make him snap, that he is the one sitting back and watching Drake's career now implode because of his own failure throughout his entire beef with Kendrick and through all of the other poor choices he made in his career over the past few years. And now, as in this time where everyone was coming at Drake, Pharrell was just too involved with big brand partnerships between his role in doing the soundtrack for Despicable Me 4, doing his own Lego movie about his life, and designing for Louis Vuitton to drag down everything he was working for to get involved in such a messy beef with Drake. Because at the end of the day, when you look at the type of brands that Pharrell was working with, his deals with companies like Lego or Illumination just would have folded. Because no family brand wants to be anywhere near the types of names that Drake was being called. Now that he has completed all of those quests and he has been named as the designer of the year from GQ, Pharrell's year of just pushing the boundaries for what someone in the hip-hop space can do is now officially over. And as Pharrell is wrapping things up right now and recapping his year, he sat down in this interview with GQ and answered some questions about the current state of his career and things going on around his name. And for the first time, he has finally addressed everything that has been going on between him and Drake, and with the answers he has given, Drake is probably crashing out and fuming hearing this, because after an in-depth conversation between Pharrell and GQ, where he is providing such deep answers about all of his interests and creative endeavors, Pharrell got asked, 2 years ago you founded an online auction platform. To launch it, you got all of your iconic custom jewelry stuff from, let's call it your hubris era, out of storage and sold it. Was that stuff weighing on you? Which, first off, Pharrell answered to this, I didn't realize. You never realize how much all the stuff you have weighs on you, but it does. You don't know it until you get rid of it. The muscles in my back now, they work without straining. When you let that go, man, you feel so free. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the world, it's still there. And whatever happens to them, happens to them. Which, first off from this, Pharrell is already showing that he doesn't really care about these chains at all. And then from here, the conversation shifts as the interviewer says, in this case, Drake buys a bunch of it, which then all Pharrell says back is, sure. And then following up on
yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, all right, so what?
This, the journalist asks, how and when did you find out he was the buyer, and were you like, is this for, and before the journalist can even finish what he is saying? Pharrell butts in saying no, because I think beyond all of the ongoings, at the heart of it all, he is a fan of music. He is a fan of the history of what it is, and I happen to be a part of that, and those artifacts are a part of it. So pretty much what Pharrell is doing here now is calling Drake a fanboy, and is not even getting into the mud of the issues, which is a clear power move on his end to disarm any strength that he had left. And then from here, the interviewer asks again,
Pharrell is not messing up his Louis Vuitton stuff that he got going on, man. He ain't messing that up. I'm telling you, don't need to, look, you want to mess up your career, go around Drake. Just be affiliated with Drake in a little bit. Go ahead. And I'm telling you, Young Thug, hey, I see Drake give you $1 million or something like that. We gonna touch on that, but hey, man, y'all think y'all could dig Drake up? Nah, this is the Lord's work. The Lord don't want the Lord don't want him no more. The Lord don't want him out there no more. That's what I meant to say. That day he's going down.
Again. So when you found out he bought them, you were like, cool? Which then Pharrell simply responds, yeah. And then ultimately the interviewer asks, and then when he was rapping about melting the jewelry down and saying, come get his legacy out my house and all that stuff, how did that strike you? To which Pharrell says, it didn't. And even with him asking this same question again, Pharrell closes off this saying one word, which is no. And so now with all of this, and the fact that after this exchange, Pharrell says that he got rid of those chains in the first place because they had absolutely no value to him anymore. We can see once again that despite years of Drake instigating and trying to make Pharrell snap for the way he just nonstop taunted him for what he thought was owning his legacy, is that Pharrell didn't just care about any of this, but that he is really so above these childish antics at this point in his life, and now for
yeah, man, it's like you got rid of some old sneakers when, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I've been there and done that, bro. Yeah, I was that dude. Like, I've been there and done that. This means something to you. You was a little nigga when I was doing this. You know what I'm saying?
someone of Pharrell's stature, who has shown that he is one of the most professional and respectable people working in the music business today, this makes complete and total sense that Drake flaunting the chains that he got rid of in the first place, and Drake saying that he melted them down, did not faze him once, because to reach the point of success Pharrell is at, he obviously has the maturity and discipline to let things go that in the grand picture of it all, don't really matter or advance his creative goals forward. Which also on top of the fact that Drake didn't actually melt Pharrell's chains. This is why in this interview, you can tell that what Pharrell is saying here isn't even him lying, trying to throw off Drake, or just speaking in a manner that's trying to troll him. But he is really just talking his truth here and letting Drake know that all of his disses on him were pathetic, and that for actual grown men who live lives that he is jealous of and who get in rooms that he will never because he lacks the maturity and discipline to, that he is just above all of these antics. And after so long of Drake trying to build this grand moment between him and Pharrell, having the payoff to it just be Pharrell telling us that he doesn't care about any of it and that he sold these chains for a reason is absolutely hilarious, and is really just adding another L to Drake's resume. Because we are seeing another attempt at him instigating an escalating conflict just fall flat on his face and only make him look worse. So all in all, as Drake is being handed yet another L by Pharrell, and joining the likes of someone like Kendrick Lamar, joining the likes of someone on his face and
That's
only make him look worse. So all in all, as Drake is being handed yet a—
That's the jacket right there. That's it. Is it? Or was it the pink fur jacket? It was the pink fur jacket. It was one of them. This dude is just
another L by Pharrell, and joining the likes of someone like Kendrick Lamar, just absolutely making him look like a child within a print interview, which the fact that beyond music now Drake is getting humiliated in magazines is just hilarious. But all in all with this, hopefully Pharrell making Drake look this pathetic in such a professional space finally makes the message reach his head that Drake just has to grow up. And so now with all that said, let me know. What do you think of how Pharrell responded to Drake's years of taunting, and do you think this was the best response he could have had? Well, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and while you're at it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how adding to this L for Drake, he is getting even more flack right now because he is making rappers defend him and just look like absolute clowns in the worst way, as by rappers coming out and trying to change the narrative of what happened between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, Drake is just showing that he's never been more bitter and obsessed with trying to rewrite history, which seriously goes against everything hip-hop has ever stood for, and making this all the more scary, as everyone around Drake are still pushing lies about what happened.
Yeah, people getting paid off to try to revive Drake from what has been done to him by Kendrick Lamar. You got people like Skepta, you got Young Thug getting out and thinking that he gonna do something that, man, it ain't gonna work. It is not going to work. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Who do y'all think is gonna be able to revive Drake's career? Is anybody going to be able to revive Drake's career? Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all let me know what y'all think. If you want to be a member, it's in the description. It's like $2 a month. If you want to support the channel, you know what I'm saying? It's a good way to keep me going. You know what I mean? Merch going to be here soon. Y'all already know. Yeah. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone.